Hi guys, it's Carissa here from Before You Renovate. Bringing you another amazing podcast filled with valuable insight into how to prepare your budget before you renovate. So we did talk about budgets last week, but what I wanted to go in a bit more detail today is setting up your scope, putting it into your budget, the importance of understanding your scope and breaking it down in enough detail so you know how to get your pricing, and then getting your quotes, and then deciding who you're going to go with and what process to do prior to giving approval, and then tracking your payment plan and your payment system. So in one document, you can really easily know where things are at, what you're doing, and how to get the most out of it. So, welcome to another podcast. Let's talk budgets. Right, you've now decided, I want to renovate. I need to do the kitchen, the bathroom, the laundry, the flooring, the painting. Or you're not even doing all that, you're just doing your kitchen. But there's parts to it. So the first thing I really want you to think about is what exactly is in the scope you're trying to achieve. So let's say, for example, it is the kitchen. What of the kitchen are you doing? You've got demo, for example. You may be doing a brand new kitchen. So there's demo of what's there. There's the cabinetry. There's the stone or the bench top, whatever you're deciding to go. There's the splashback. There's the appliances. There's the sink, the mixer. There's your electrical, your plumbing, and there's the functionality of that actual kitchen. So understanding exactly how you want it, that's a whole different topic. We'll go through another day. But let's say you've already got it designed now. You know how you want it. You know all the material. You know everything. You know, this is where I want this. This is the finish I want here. This is the cabinetry. This is the bench top. This is the splashback. Great. You now need to understand, well, which trades do you need? Now, you may take that all through a kitchen company. You may take that through a builder, or you may get that all individual, which means you'll have the joinerer, which would be a kitchen company. You may go straight to the stonemason because you'll probably get it cheaper than going through the kitchen guy who's going to put a markup on his stonemason when you could go straight to the stonemason. You may do tile splashback, so you need a tiler. You'll need a demo team, or you may do that yourself. But again, like we also talked about, time equals money. So still factor in if you were paying someone to do the demo. Then you'll have electrical, so you need a sparky. You have plumbing, you need a plumber. And then you'll have to go source your appliances and your mixer tap, your I'd say mixer because I always put mixers in, and your sink, right? So like I said, let's say you've already done your layout, okay? We're just talking the trades. Then you want to put it all into a spreadsheet. So what you want to be able to do is pull up Excel. This is the best way I suggest doing it, and this is how I do it with all my projects. And you want to be able to itemize the categories. So what I like to do is I'll put kitchen and everything under that. I'll put electrical and everything under that. I'll put plumbing and everything under that. I'll put tiling and everything under that. I'll put bathroom, everything under that. Flooring, painting, so forth. So even though the plumbing is part of the bathroom and there's plumbing in the kitchen, I might mark it on the kitchen area. So I've got the scope under the kitchen, but I will then put the price under the plumber because the plumber is going to give me a package for doing everything. So I will then go through the kitchen to know I haven't missed anything. So I've got my cabinetry, I've got my bench top, I've got my splashback, I've got my appliances and my items. I've got my electrical, I've got my plumbing. But electrical and plumbing will be C electrical price, C plumbing price. And it's under plumbing and electrical. Okay? Then once I've got that all set up, so I've got my date, I've got my address of what project it is, because maybe you're running multiple projects, so don't mix up your addresses. Start with the address, breakdown of costs, then categorize. Once you've categorized, add your descriptions. So you're clearly one-liners, you know everything. Then go to your price. Now, if you've got an idea or you've planned, look, I'm only going to put 15 grand into the kitchen, for example, your estimate is 15. So have a column for estimate. Estimate is 15. Then you're going to have a column of what your actual costs are. So I recommend you get 3 quotes. Quote 1, quote 2, quote 3. Plug them in there. Now we're going to come back to how to dissect the quotes. 1, 2, and 3. Okay? So I'm going to show you guys something to make it extra easy for you to follow me. Actually, I'll do it faster. So let's revise what I said. Breakdown of costs. That's your heading. With your address. Never forget your address so you know exactly what this property is for. Because when you nail this and you nail your property uplift, who knows? You may end up becoming a property expert who's doing renos every 2 months. So have this as your template. And actually, I even recommend setting it up as a template, save it as your template, and then resave it and use it for your project. And then if there's another job or you decide to do your kitchen down the track or your bathroom down the track, you reuse the same file. You've got your template there. So you're creating templates in the background, which is key. This all forms the blueprint that I do for our Refurb to Invest business. So you then want to do your scope. You want to do your estimate. You want to do quote 1, quote 2, quote 3. So this is your first part, which shall look like this. Breakdown of costs, your address, scope, and you will enter your scope. Estimate, quote 1, quote 2, quote 3. Now, let's break down, like I said just before. You would have kitchen and the items that come under kitchen. If you've got your bathroom, the items that come under bathroom, your flooring. So I hope you guys are really following me with this and putting this to practice. I don't just want you to listen to my amazing voice. Sometimes I think it's annoying, but I want you to really get something out of this. So this would be in your spreadsheet. I'm hoping that you can see this and this is not mirror because I'm on selfie mode. So hopefully. So you'll be able to break this all down and you'll be able to then have your totals. Okay. Now, what is really important about that is if it's all broken down like kitchen splashback. So what's the material and then what's the trade cost? Are you supplying the tiles, for example, or are you getting a company to put the glass so they're going to do supply and install? So understand that and write that here. Supply and install, supply and install, install, supply and install, supply and install, supply. So understand what you're supplying, what they're supplying, what's getting installed as well. So when you write your cost down, you don't go later, oh, did the tiler include to buy the tiles too? And then you have a budget because you haven't factored in properly. And that way, the more info you know, the more you can then try to negotiate because you know where you're at. Then going, oh shit, I've missed something and now I'm $100 over what I was trying to spend. $100 might not sound a lot, but it all adds. We don't want to spend more than what we need to, no matter what your plan is. I met a couple the other day for a property that I got asked to look at that is on market to sell right now. And they were asking me, there was 2 buyers that were there. I was in a meeting with the 2 buyers and the agent. And they said, can you give us an idea if we did this and this and this and this? Because before we purchase, we just want to check that we can do the things we want to do and what sort of price range is that going to be. So I said, yeah, no problem. What are the things you want to achieve? And like they're looking at building, going up a level and putting a pool and reconfiguring most of down the existing level now. And it was double brick. So, we had to look up what was going to be beams. So a lot of sort of pre-work just to understand what they're trying to achieve, to be able to then say, look, you're going to need to have 500 to 600 to 700, whatever the amount is. Now, it was only estimates. However, what I did say was it's really important to make sure you stick to a budget. And one of them in particular said to me, we just still want to make sure everything's going to be very high end and all the finishes are what we want. And I said 100%, but I'm sure you don't have an unlimited budget. Even someone who has multi-million-dollar, financial status does still not have an unlimited budget. So if you're in this particular property was a big spend, it was a few mil. And then I said, you know what, yes, you've got to do due diligence about how you want to renovate this. At the same time, don't think your budget is unlimited. Stick yourself to a budget. And when I explained about being cost effective, her perception of that was then, oh, it's not going to be a high-end renovation. And I said, no, that's not at all what I'm saying. You can have a high-end renovation. You can have exact finishes that you want, but there's still ways to save money in doing that. And that's what I want to teach you guys, that no matter what your circumstance is, whether it's because you need to sell it and you want to make an extra 100 grand profit, whether it's a big $5 million property that you want to sell and you've got potential that even if you spend 500 grand, you can get an extra mil. You still want to be cost effective and strategic. If it's a rental property and you're trying to increase your rent, again, whether you're in Western Sydney, for example, and you get $100 more a week, or you're in eastern suburbs and you can get $500 more a week if you do that strategy compared to that strategy, you're still trying to save money. No one wants to put more money in than what they need to. It's understanding what your property needs, what scope it is, and what level of everything things can be at. But when you break it down like this, you don't miss anything. So you have more negotiating power. You have more data, more knowledge, more insight into your renovation. So you can then decide, you know what, I want to spend an extra $10 a square meter and get the better tile because I've got some budget left. Or, okay, I'm hitting budget. I'm going to need to put that type of floorboard in instead of that size. Or I'm going to need to go from that carpet to that carpet, which may still look the same, but it may have just been a difference of the actual thread or slight difference in color that might change the cost. There's so many things that can change your pricing. So if you're not on top of your pricing, you will spend 10, 20, 30, 50, 100 grand more than what you need to, which doesn't add as much value as it could have. Because if you're achieving the same outcome in terms of how it looks, but you're going from spending 100 grand to spending 200 grand, or you're going from spending 50 grand to 70 grand because there was a few mistakes made, you ordered something wrong, you had to reorder. Trust me, I've done that for my own jobs myself, and I think I spoke about that last week. You want to make sure you're getting the most out of it. So you might just make yourself an extra 2-to-1 return on investment, an extra 100 grand, an extra 200 grand, but you probably spent 10 grand more than what you needed to. So that was 10 grand of profit you just lost. So really think about your budget. Like, I can't stress enough how important this is. This is where mistakes get made when this isn't mapped out. So when you take your time to break down your scope, understand every aspect of your scope, then you break down your estimate to quote 1, quote 2, quote 3. Because when you understand your scope, then you can get the right quotes. And your quotes have to be comparable, right? You don't want one guy pricing you on laminate floor and the other guy's pricing you on engineered timber, because that'll be two completely different prices. So you need to make sure that you understand what exactly are you asking them to quote. And we'll talk about documenting that on another podcast, but understanding what you need to quote. So when you go to them with, I want this and this and this and this and this, and then you go to that plumber, you're like, I want this and this and this and this, they're quoting for the same scope. So when you come to putting it on here, quote 1 and quote 2 and quote 3 are for the same scope. Not that he's allowed toilets, but he hasn't, and then he's allowed to paint all the outside, but he's only allowed for inside, because then they're not comparable. You can't look at them and go, okay, he's cheaper than him, let's go with him. That will save us $500 if we do that. You'll have things everywhere. So you need to break down and dissect. Dissect with a magnifying glass. That's exactly what I do. Dissect with a magnifying glass. Not literally, but literally. To understand what each trade has included, to make sure that it's all been factored in, you haven't missed something, what have they included to supply that or not. And then, like I said before, write what's supplied and what's installed. What are you just supplying? What is just being installed? What is both? So when you go through it, you don't miss anything, right? Then you get your 3 quotes, then you can easily see numbers in front of you. I estimated 10 grand for the kitchen. All my quotes come into a 12 and 13. Okay, do I need to negotiate? let's do that. I would always recommend negotiating. There's no harm in ever asking. Secondly, all right, I'm 2K over. Where else can I save so I can not go over my budget? Okay, I've got quote 2 at 12,000. Quote 3 is at 12 and a half. Quote 3 is at 11. Great. Now you can start seeing your figures. And if you have it all on Excel as next time I'll show you guys Excel, might be a bit easier than writing it. If you have it all with formulas, you'll be able to then see subtotals. So subtotal the kitchen, subtotal the bathroom, subtotal the flooring, subtotal the painting, and then have your final total at the end. And same thing, break down your items. So do the exact same thing, but go sink and mixer, oven, cooktop, blah, 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 and their prices. Once you start searching and sourcing, I'll try and say it at the same time then, as you start searching and sourcing for your best prices on your items, okay? So that's how you're gonna break down your budget. That's how you're gonna be able to see where all your costs actually are, so you can then see your total. Your estimated budget might have been 50 grand. And you've then quote 1, quote 2, quote 3, across all of those when you add them all together. Now these are, like I said, different quotes, so maybe go the cheapest, the second, and the third, so you can then see everything. Because you need to be able to then see what your total is and know that exactly where you're spending your money. And then you'll be able to see if anything's missing. Then from there, you'll be able to go, okay, I'm gonna tick quote 1 for the kitchen, quote 2 for the bathroom, quote 3 for the flooring. You can then select who you're going ahead with. And then on the far column, which is now off my page, you can then say when your deposit's due, when your payment's due, when have you paid them, and keep everything to do with your numbers on one exact document. All right, guys. So just to recap, we talked about setting your budget, breaking it down into an Excel spreadsheet, knowing exactly the in and outs of what your scope is, and giving that detail to the trades, putting it together so it's all categorized. Estimate, quote 1, quote 2, quote 3. And remember I said, put plumbing under kitchen, but have a separate section for plumbing that gives you your package of plumbing. Because if you package things, you'll get better rates from your trades. So plumber's gonna price everything. If you ask him to just give you the price of the kitchen separately, it will end up charging more. So he gives you 2 grand for everything, you put 2 grand, and then you put in the kitchen section included in plumbing. So you don't miss anything. Don't miss any data, because you'll get to site, you'll start your work, and you'll be like, I forgot to price tiles. Get it all mapped out before day 1. Do not rush at doing this. Do not rush at starting your project until you have done your budget in your template. And remember I said create a template so you can reuse this. Guys, I'm Carissa from Before You Renovate. I love bringing you this content. Please like, share, and comment. Pass it along. Other people you know that have investment properties or are looking to sell or some point want to renovate, let them know so they can get the most out of their renovation, which is why I do this, why I give this insight to you guys completely free, giving you my time because I want you to do your reno right. I don't want you to be stuck doing it wrong and having a bad experience. I'm quite frank sick of seeing Facebook and Instagram of people going, it took me 2 years to renovate, I'm never gonna do it again. But they sell and made money, but they're too scared to do it again because they've had such a bad experience. So I'm here to change that. My mission is to have people love renovating, get into renovating, and make good money out of renovating, no matter what their outcome actually is. Make more out of it, save more, achieve more, and have a fun process. So if you haven't already watched back our other podcasts, jump on and have a look. Before You Renovate, we're on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. We have our amazing YouTube channel if you're not already watching it from there, or you might be listening to this on Spotify. We also have our Refurb to Invest page, which is my sister company that actually does these for people. So here I'm teaching you how to do it. Refurb to Invest does it for people. So if that's a better service for your circumstance, that you don't have time to invest into this, you're more than welcome to reach out to us at Refurb to Invest #2 on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and our YouTube channel as well with our Monday morning insights that we love doing too. Guys, that's it from me. Happy renovating, and please share with me some of your stories and if there's any other topics that you'd love me to talk about, so I can make sure I keep adding amazing content for you guys. Peace out, happy renovating. Ciao.